Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up this week, we are going to talk about the best DVC resorts for foodies. Coming up next. The DVC show is brought to you by DVCstore.com. You'll save thousands of dollars on your next DVC contract when you let the experts at the DVC store help welcome you home. Visit them on the web at www.dvcstore.com or give them a call, 1-800-550-6493. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. With Indigestion, I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friend, Sean Falk.
Hi.
Jackie Gailey.
Hi, guys.
From the DVC store, Mr. Jerry Saito.
Hello.
Joining us via Skype, Mr. Pete Chidley.
Hi, everybody.
And back in the production nook, our associate producer, Mr. Corey Fiescanaro.
Welcome home.
Hope your week is off to a good start, folks. I want to just make sure we get a plug in for DVC owners that want to rent out your points. This is a great time. Give the folks at DVC Store a call. They're now paying $15.50 per point when you rent them out. So that's an awesome price, because you got me looking now.
No, nice.
You got me looking.
You got me looking.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So just give them a call, 1-800-550-6493, or send them an email, sales@dvcstore.com, and they can help you. They can help you rent out those points. And that's the problem, is inventory, right? There's a ton of people looking to rent the points, to rent points to stay at DVC. You need more people willing to rent out their points. So you rent them out, they'll go quick. So, all right, let's do this. We put up a poll on DVCfan.com not that long ago. Where is it? There it is. Asking people to vote on which DVC resorts were the best for foodies. And I have to say, while I'm not surprised by some of the results, I am surprised by others. Over 1,800 votes cast on this, so we have a nice sample. No surprise, number one resort for foodies, Animal Kingdom Lodge. It doesn't get any better than being able to go out and shoot your dinner right on this event. No, I'm kidding. But I've very frequently said best food and beverage at any Disney resort, maybe any resort I've ever been to, is Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yep.
Jico, Boma, Sanaa, the Mara.
All great.
Whether it's signature, buffet, table service, or quick service, phenomenal. You have an incredible food and beverage manager over there. You have an incredible general manager. It's an amazingly well-run
Even
resort.
the concierge food as well, like up in the lounge, is
So good.
Well, what's really
good,
awesome,
too.
what's really awesome about that is they bring up in the evening, for the evening concierge service, they bring up one of the chefs from the restaurant, one of the restaurants, and they're preparing a unique dish. These are not dishes that are usually on the menu in the restaurants, but they're African themed, African inspired. Wow. And I remember I forgot what it was I was eating the last time I was up there. I felt like a pig, because I was like being very sheepish walking up for my third helping of this food. It was that good. And I mean, concierge is very good at Animal Kingdom Lodge, regardless. But it just seems that no matter where you eat, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I get completely why this was by a mile.
Oh, I'm sure.
33% of those 1,800 people voted Animal Kingdom Lodge as their number one resort for food.
And I actually have a little quick update. I sent this to you, Jackie, the other day when I was eating there. At Jico, which I think is among one of the best restaurants, the Mara among one of the best quick service, Boma among the best buffets. But at Jico, it was very popular for people that ordered the filet to get the enhancement that was the macaroni and cheese. That was a very
Okay,
popular
well, it's not
combination.
an enhancement. This, what he's talking about is back when Gico first opened, there was a dish on the menu. It was a filet mignon on a bed of homemade macaroni and cheese with a red wine reduction. Is that what you're talking about?
So, yes, and then it
Bodhi.
went away. And the macaroni and cheese was an enhancement that people would add on to it. So I didn't
let
know
me
about the
finish.
first part.
Let me tell my story.
Yeah.
So, and then when a new chef came in, she took that off the menu. And people lost their minds. So they never put it back on the menu, but they will make it if you ask for it. Now, they do have a version of that dish with the macaroni and cheese that is made with bobotie as well, which is very good. Very, very good. Nothing will ever match, for me, that tender, cut with your fork filet mignon with that amazing 4-cheese homemade macaroni and cheese
Well, I got some good news.
and the red wine reduction sauce, the combination of those flavors is stunning.
Got some good news for you. That's what's on the menu now.
Oh, they put it back on the
They
menu.
put it back. So it was originally, or not, I guess that was the original version. Then they switched it to, it was still the filet with potatoes and root vegetables. And now it's back to the filet over the bed of mac and cheese.
Well, they had added, was it the bobotie mac and cheese? Because that's been on the menu for a while.
It was like the shells.
Right, but with bobotie mixed in. Bobotie is an African dish. It's really, really good. It's kind of cinnamony a little bit.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the original.
Okay.
The original plate. It was the 4-cheese blend mac and cheese with the filet. But yeah, but the
Well, I
price.
guess they got tired. They get tired of
Constant requests.
constant requests. Just put it on the menu and be done with it.
Right.
Number 2, I get this, but I don't agree that this belongs in the number 2 spot. 16.7% of the vote went to Grand Floridian. Now, Citrico's and Grand Floridian Cafe, I agree. Narcoossee's? No, I don't. And as good as Citrico's and Grand Floridian Cafe are, they're simply not better than California, in my opinion. The man to my right will disagree with this. They're simply not better than California Grill on the signature end or the Wave
Yeah.
on the table service end.
Oh no, I don't think they're better than the Wave
Oh,
or
okay.
California Grill.
I know you love Citrico's.
Oh, I love Citrico's, but I don't think it's better than California Grill. And definitely Grand Floridian Cafe is not better than the Wave.
Do you think that high rating though is because of Victoria and Albert's?
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
that
You
was
know,
a
let me-
showstopper for me.
Let me ask a question. How many of us have been?
No.
I've been.
I've never been.
Okay.
My
and
wife and I still talk about that meal. Like,
No, I ate there 20 years ago. 20 years ago was the last time I ate there. That'll show you how often I'm going to put on a jacket and tie to go to dinner.
and spend $500.
I don't care about the spend of $500. I've spent $500 on dinner before. Since. I don't have a problem with that. I got to get up in a jacket and tie? Nope. There are too many really good places I can eat where I don't have to dress in the monkey suit.
See, I don't think it's coming from Victoria and Albert's, but you know, again, that's why we're all here because we
I
all
think it's
have
a
our
difficult
opinions.
reservation
I
to
think it's
get.
1900 Park Fair where it's
That's
coming
what
from.
I was going to say. Is I think 1900 Park Fair.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
again, 1900 Park Fair. Well, I guess you can compare that favorably to Chef Mickey's. But I could.
What about the tea and pastry?
And those
like,
stepsisters, man, they are so fun.
Characters
They're
are very
hoot.
good.
That's
Characters are
that's
very
where I send a lot of people to 1900 Park Fair that couldn't get Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yeah.
Like it's a great alternative that's usually pretty available. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
and
always
they get Prince Charming too.
yeah.
So like, it's fun.
I know several people that love that strawberry soup there, and
Oh, yeah.
maybe that's
the
that's
best
the trigger.
ever.
But
But-
yeah, Jerry was talking about high tea
Yeah.
or whatever there. Like that's a good option too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very rare that somewhere has something like that. And
Right,
People,
it's
people
unique,
aren't even
it's
staying
different.
there. Come over to go do the high tea.
Oh
See,
yeah.
and this is why I say that Animal Kingdom Lodge deserves that place because across the board,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is a hit. So here we get to, it's Grand Floridian, and now you've got some hits and some misses.
But there's so many options. I
There's
think
yeah,
is the
there's a
big
lot of
thing. We've
variety.
named
though.
off
That's
like
what it
6
sounds
things
like. A lot of
that-
choices.
Yeah. Plus, their quick service is amazing too.
Quick service is good.
Gasparilla, yeah.
Gasparillo's Grill is good. I don't know that amazing is the word I would use for it,
Depends on, yeah.
but it was good. I will tell you, the service in Gasparilla's is far better than the service I was getting at the front desk when I stayed there last year with my mother. I'm not over that yet.
Yeah.
Number 3, coming in at number 3, Boardwalk. And it was a close one because 16.7% for Grand Floridian, 16% for the Boardwalk. Of course, the anchor, one of the best restaurants on Disney property consistently, ever since it was reimagined and reopened. The Flying Fish, you've heard me talk about it. The pork belly, which we refer to as meat butter, is absolutely phenomenal. But that's the highlight. They have Big River Grill, which is good. The last review we did there, it was phenomenal. I mean, the food and the service were both absolutely amazing. But it's a very hit or miss place. Then you've got ESPN Club. You have Trattoria El Forno. Again, our review of it was very positive. We had a great
love their
experience.
breakfast.
Me
The
too.
breakfast, the character breakfast was fantastic, but it gets a lot of mixed reviews.
Yeah, I hated it.
It gets a lot of mixed reviews. So, here you have, one restaurant that is pretty much universally praised in Flying Fish. And then you have a few others that are good, but they're hit and miss.
I'm surprised Boardwalk was as high as it was. though,
Well,
'cause
for
I don't-
if we're talking about foodies aren't. If we're going to be technical about it, foodies aren't looking at 1900 Park Fair. Foodies looking at Citrico's.
Right.
Right.
And so if we're looking at Flying Fish, I prefer Flying Fish to Citrico's. I think Citrico's is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But there's something. The food. This has always confused me for just my perceptions. Every single meal I have had in Citrico's for I can't tell you how many years has been superb. The service and the food have been superb. Yet there is something about this restaurant I find boring. And that's just me. I don't know that, I've heard other people say that, but I find it to be boring. I find Flying Fish, also a restaurant that has consistently given me amazing meals. I find that exciting. I find the design of it exciting. I find the atmosphere engaging. The boardwalk, the whole thing.
So,
Go ahead, Pete.
so I wonder if Boardwalk's rated high also though because and this would tend to make Beach Club in the same level that you have, Beach Club, you have Yachtsman and some choices over there. You have Swan and Dolphin, which has some very good restaurants. And then you also have Epcot that's within walking distance. So within walking distance of Boardwalk, there is a lot of really quality options, even if you don't consider the ones at Boardwalk itself to
That's
be.
true.
Because I'd agree with you. ESPN, I'm never going to choose to go there. But
Fiasco, you put this up. I'm assuming you just picked the top 5 and didn't show the rest of the resorts.
Wait, so no, Paul did.
Oh, Paul did.
Yeah, I just emailed it to you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that maybe because of course, whenever I heard what the topic was, my mindset was, if I'm staying within the resort, what is it that's there? But I guess looking at it from that perspective, Epcot is the best place to go for foodies, and so staying at an Epcot resort is the best location because you can get to where the foodies would go to much quicker than staying at some random other place. Even if it had better stuff, I mean, if I'm there for food and I want to do that, there's festivals at Epcot, there's all these different things. I just didn't think about it from that view, but maybe some of the voters did when they were thinking, I could stay
It's
at
a good
Boardwalk
point.
because I can get into Epcot and do foodie things.
So,
yeah,
could be.
and that's the way I thought, I guess, is because to me, if I can walk there, that
Yeah,
counts.
I think that makes sense if you're asking best resort for foodies.
Yeah.
Access, it doesn't have to be necessarily the food at that resort. It
Right.
can be the stuff that you can easily get to from it, and that certainly makes sense with Epcot. Number 4 on the list, you people just got this wrong. Bay Lake Tower.
Ooh.
When you have a resort, what's that?
Oh no, go ahead.
What?
I was talking about it under my breath. You're fine.
Okay. Well, it wasn't under your breath because I heard something.
No, I was just surprised. So
13.2% chose Bay Lake Tower. When you are talking about a resort that has California Grill and the Wave,
Yeah.
13.2% is insane.
This is, I think, severely underrated. I would definitely put this at number 2, right below Animal Kingdom Lodge. Just barely sneaking, not being able to take the 1 slot. And I think where it's held down is the quick service and Chef Mickey's. If those were a little bit better or better, it could easily be number 1 based
Well,
on the table service alone.
Again, for me, if we're talking about foodies, we're not talking about table service, or we're not talking about quick service or character meals. We're talking about the kind of meals you get at California Grill that are, I mean, they're experiences, they're culinary experiences. And the Wave, while it is a 1 table service credit restaurant on the Disney dining plan, it is the best value at 1 table service credit that you are going to get on Disney property, because you have this inventive, genius team of chefs that are preparing these dishes that are not just your traditional meals like a lot of table service restaurants at Walt Disney World will do.
Yeah.
They are trying new things. They're plant-based options. And I am nobody's definition of a vegetarian or a tree-hugging hippie. Oh my God, their plant-based options are incredible.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about the bacon and eggs. And again, that's what I'm talking about. That's not the kind of dish you would expect on a menu for a restaurant like the Wave. You wouldn't expect cheesy grits, a perfectly poached egg, and a maple lacquered pork belly. That's very different. It's not something you see anywhere else. And that is indicative of the entire menu. Not that there aren't things that are very, more basic and more approachable. It's a beautiful blend, and it's incredibly well done, and it's consistently good. And it just drives me crazy that I've been jumping up and down about this restaurant for a year and a half, and I still don't feel like it gets the love and attention it deserves.
Well, that's almost a good thing because, like you said, it is
really, stay out so I have my reservation.
It is consistent.
Well, I'm always, because I jump up and down about them and I love them so much, I get a table whenever I want now.
Yeah.
Because I got the manager's email or phone number, so I just text her. I just say I'm coming in. But
I think part of it's because you have to walk over there to those things. You can't do that from Bay Lake Tower.
Oh, get off your
like
asses.
none of those things are at the resort.
But even
you're
like
staying
going
at.
back to the
Look at
argument
us,
to,
people. We're not exactly the thinnest group in the world. A walk isn't going to kill us.
yeah, but it goes back to the boardwalk argument where there's some good restaurants within walking distance. I mean, I think back in my life, California Grill has always been the number 1 restaurant for me. Always.
Right,
like
yeah,
if there's
yeah.
a special occasion, a birthday, an anniversary, whatever, I'm typically going to California Grill. I mean, I haven't tried Topolino's, but nonetheless, I mean, California Grill is considered my favorite.
But I think that's where like it gets wonky with like which people were thinking that you can walk to other things and which people were thinking that you can't walk to other things. Because if the way I was viewing it from the beginning was it's got to be stuff within whatever you're talking about bubble, I guess.
Yeah.
So if I'm only thinking I have to be in Bay Lake Tower and I can only dwell within this range.
Well, if that's the case, why isn't, for the reasons we were outlining before, why isn't Boardwalk number 1? Because you can get into Epcot and you can get over, Il Molino over at the Swan is
No,
probably
I'm just
one
saying
of the
there's
best
some
Italian
people
restaurants
who, I think
you'll
there's
ever eat
some
at.
people that voted one way, and I think there's some people who thought it was the
The
way I thought, and
interpretation,
there's some people
yeah.
that thought that it was the way that
Yeah, when I
Pete
saw
Shiley
Bay Lake
thought,
Tower
so-
on there, I was like, oh, there's not really an option there,
When
Bay
you-
Lake Tower.
right.
But with California Grill right next door, you're right, should be number 1 or 2 on the
Right.
list.
Yeah, like everybody's perception when they read it is different, and so they vote.
That's
on
what I'm
their
saying.
own.
That maybe
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
it's skewed weird.
I think so.
Rounding out the top 5, and I definitely don't agree with this. I think it should be lower. Polynesian.
Yeah. Should I name
Polynesian.
Oh, but Ohana though
Ohana's, yeah.
is so good, and it's different. It's character breakfast in the
Well,
morning.
okay.
Dinner is
Whoa,
amazing.
whoa. Hold on. Pump the brakes there, Missy. Character breakfast at Ohana is awful. Okay?
Uh-oh.
The food is terrible.
Oh, I love
Absolutely
it.
terrible. It's an awful breakfast. I would rather eat at Chef Mickey's than at
boy.
Ohana for breakfast. Dinner's a different story. Dinner's a much different story, but we have all these complaints about people being rushed through their meals. I think they've backed off on that. I'm not hearing so much of that anymore. I think maybe we effectively shamed them into knocking that off. I hope so. But 9.1% of the respondents gave the nod to Polynesian. Of course, you have Ohana. You have Kona Cafe, one of those restaurants that started out really, really good and then got really bad. It went through like the dark times. And now they've got a new chef. And the last few times I've been there, I've been impressed. Food's been very good.
Yeah.
Of course, for quick service, you have Captain Cook's. It is, in my opinion, the best quick service on property, or maybe second best after the Mara. Those coconut curry meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just
See,
just give me that and a dark corner and some Barry Manilow. And
So of those 5 that we listed, that's the first one that I would, as a foodie, I would not put on my list
yeah.
because
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's Ohana, as you say, dinner, it's very good, but I wouldn't call it a fantastic culinary experience. And Kona, as you say, can be up and down. I just don't see that.
yeah, I'm just realizing there's no signature dining at the Poly.
Really, if you look at the Polynesian, I mean, like, there's no signature dining to compare to anything like California Grill or Jico or anything like that. And for what they have, I think Ohana is extremely overrated. And lately, we've been hearing more about the service issues. But like, I never even I don't think the food is as good as the price you pay for it in general. I know I disagreed with it, but I don't think it is.
I love
Yeah, I would
Ohana.
absolutely,
I do too.
I would
I love
absolutely have put Wilderness Lodge
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
over
thought.
Polynesian
Yeah.
any
Yeah,
day of the week.
I agree.
Yes.
Just
I
on the
do agree
strength
with that.
of Geyser Point, Whispering
Artist Point too.
Whispering Canyon on the table service side, how good that food was. We were there. And Artist Point, boy, they really brought, for me, I know that's another one that gets mixed reviews, but we've been there a couple times.
Yeah, it's always been great.
And it has been fantastic each time. I've
Yeah.
loved every minute of it, both times we've been there. So,
Do you think maybe some of that's because of having to split your vote, whether Copper Creek or Boulder Ridge, or were those combined? Do we know if that was
I don't know. I'd
combined
have to
into
go in
one?
and look, and I don't have access from
Okay.
my iPad. But
They share the same space. They combine.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think, yeah, I would have combined them, but I
They
don't know. how
they should have
close.
been together for that type of vote.
So yeah, I don't disagree. I disagree with Polynesian being on this list at all. I disagree with Bay Lake Tower being at number 4. I really believe it should be number 2.
Yeah.
Grand Floridian number 3, Boardwalk number 4, Wilderness Lodge would be number 5 if I was
Yeah.
doing this. But very interesting results. Always get some surprises when we put these polls up.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because if a person eats at one of the Walt Disney World restaurants and they don't have the greatest experience ever, chances are they're not going to return there,
Yeah.
even if it was years and years and years ago.
Yep.
So you just never know.
That's why they have me.
Yeah.
They have me to go
Yeah.
eat there and tell them what I think of it.
Yeah.
Because I do that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
there's a restaurant I had a bad experience at, I won't go back. And because we have to go and review them, and while we're talking about restaurants, we'll do a formal review on the dining show coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new best restaurant at Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah.
It's Takumi Thai.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
At
We
Japan.
loved
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you
Really?
something.
I've heard amazing.
It was great.
You want a restaurant for foodies?
That's a good place for
Holy
foodies.
crap.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
this ain't
expensive,
cheap.
but it's really expensive. But
Two
it's
of us for dinner was 300 and change, and I think you had one cocktail.
I had one, yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. There's no words.
The people are dying for Craig and Corey to go there, because Corey is such a sushi fan, and their sushi is,
I had their sushi.
Did you have sushi?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
I've heard
I
so
love
many good
sushi.
things about it.
It was. It is for me the new number 1 restaurant
But yeah, I could eat
at
there
Walt
all the
Disney
time.
World.
I would
Wow.
love that
And I don't
restaurant.
say that lightly.
Yeah, that's an intense rating.
Wow.
I was unsure going in. especially looking at the prices. $120 for Wagyu, for Japanese Wagyu versus American, which I went with the Japanese.
The American was 85, so I mean, it's still expensive.
Still expensive.
Yeah.
But Wagyu is expensive. But if you want to know what it feels like to have a piece of meat literally melt in your mouth.
Oh, it melted, yeah.
And with a flavor that was, I mean, I've had Wagyu before. I've had Wagyu, very good Wagyu before. The way it was prepared, the seasoning, oh my God. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And wonderful service, although thank God Sean understood what they were saying because their accents were very, very thick.
Oh, yeah.
And I, like, the woman who sat us was explaining, was taking us in, was explaining things to us, and I'm just nodding my head. I didn't understand a damn word that came out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Sean did.
Oh, yeah, I knew everything she was saying.
But
I do want to say though, with being a foodie kind of things and how they go in waves. I mean, like, fun story about 2.5-3 years ago almost now. I was telling Pete, I was like, we should go to California Grill, and at that time, California Grill had been through a bit of a slump, and he wasn't emphatic about going there and was just kind of like on it. And we went, and he was like, oh my God, they've completely turned it around. And I think we ended up going like 3 or 4 more times and did a review and did all this stuff. And like, it really hit an upswing.
Before we did the review, I wanted to go back 2 or 3 times to make sure that I wasn't just catching them on a good night. That because the real thing is consistency. Yeah. They have to be consistently good. Everybody can have a good night. Not everybody can have a good year, or a good month. And so if you go 3 or 4 times over, a month or 2. You're going to get an idea, especially if you're getting similar things or the same things, which is how I do it. I'll get the same thing each time I go, and then rely on whoever I'm dining with to order different things and gauge their response. That's when I say, okay, it's time for a re-review. Or if it's like consistently bad, and I do that, then I'm like, okay, it's time for a re-review.
Yeah.
But so there you have it. That's our list. We've gone way off the deep end here. That's our list of the top 5 DVC resorts for foodies, even though you people got it wrong. And that'll do it for this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week with another edition of the DVC Show. Have a great week, folks.